Alright, for our last drawing, we're going to try and draw a isometric or 3D version of our toolbox. So we've got different grid paper this time. It's still 5mm, but it's isometric grid paper. So lines either go straight down and straight up, or back at that angle, or back at that angle. Unless we construct them otherwise. But most of them we're not going to. Most of them are just going to be straight. So we're still going to draw this as a... yeah, let's go 1:2. So we'll start down nice and low, right there. It's about halfway in the page, fairly low. Yeah, our toolbox is 200mm wide, so it's going to be 100mm across the base. Now, this is the base as if you're looking straight on at it. So we're sort of looking from this direction. Now, our base is 200, it's 400mm long, so we'll draw this back at 200. And there's the bottom two lines. We're now going to start bringing it up into the 3D realm, I suppose you could call it. It's 115mm tall, so that divided by 2 is 62.5, so we're just going to round that to 60. So we're going to come up to 60. And just a little bit further to that box there. And then over the other side, you can also come up 60. So there's the front of our toolbox. From this line, it's got to go back 200 because that's the length of it, which is 400 divided by 2. Back to 200. And once you have a look at that, you'll notice that that lines up there. Hopefully you can see that in the camera. I have adjusted it since my last videos, and hopefully you can see them a little bit clearer. I mean, this isn't blow for blow, but it does help to be a little bit clear. So I've done those ones there. What I need to do now is I need to find out the points where the toolbox lids come to. Now they're 40mm, well 80mm on the real toolbox, but 40mm on our toolbox, on our drawing, sorry. So I'm going to come into here, I'm just going to put a little mark down the bottom so I know. And I'm going to come 40 up that way as well, put a little mark. You could do that with a pencil or a lighter color if you want. I'm doing it in pen because I don't really feel like swapping around the whole time. Now, whilst these were 115, scaled down to 60 high, these ones are 140, so we're going to scale it down to 70 high. So, not drawing a line, but bringing my pen up, I'm going to put a mark there, and coming up 70, putting a mark, and I'm going to join those two lines to those corners. Right? Now I know that they don't follow the angles, but that's how they need to be drawn. This line here, however, does, because it's a line that's just on the 90 degrees. There's the front of our toolbox. It should be starting to look a little bit like what you've made so far. I can come over here. I know that this goes 200mm back, because that's the measurement of it. So 200. Oops. Sometimes it's a little bit difficult to draw these lines in and around the rig for my camera. I now also know that from this point and this point I need to come 200mm back. So I'm going to move my paper around, coming back along that line, 200. And this one here needs to come 200 back as well, because all the measurements have to be the same. 200. And then I can join these two parts up at the back here. There to there. And then that line simply goes along the top edge of my toolbox. There's the rough shape so far. That should look pretty much what you've done, except with a roof. You guys haven't made the lid yet, but that's fine. What we can do now though is we're going to add a little bit of detail at the front here for where the lid comes down. So it comes down 15mm, which we're just going to go down as one set of blocks. Over here as well. So those join along the front. And then you'll find there's a little tab that you've made. It's going to go like that. Join there. And then this one here's tab is going to come down to there. And join along. So there's the tabs that are going to sit at the front of your toolbox. There's not a great deal else that we can put detail-wise on this. What we can do though is we can put in some pop rivets, just as a little bit of a pictorial view. Let's see if I've got a pencil on me. I probably don't now that I've come all the way and set this up. Nope. Cool. So, we're going to come down 5mm, which is one set of blocks. That's 200mm wide, so we're going to put a pop rivet in at 20. I'm just going to mark it. And back in 20. Then I'm going to go 70. 20, 30. And one in the center. So that's where I'm going to put my pop rivets. And I'm just going to draw little circles. To depict my pop rivets. The other thing that's going to eventually go onto this is your handles. We won't draw that on just yet because that'll come in the next drawing. Now, is there any more detail I want to put into this? Not really. So you can go ahead and draw that, and you can either go in the 1:2 scale, or you could go as 1:4. 1:4 is going to bring it down a lot smaller, so you can put it up into your workbook onto an actual page. Once you've done that, you can start annotating the drawing, so telling me what things are. So draw a line to things like this. That's the tray end that you've been working on. Have a line over to this one. That's the tray. Obviously the lid, and work your way around.